At the beginning of the drama, we are introduced to the most popular girls in the school. That's where we meet our female lead, Gina, who is very beautiful and also an idol trainer. She doesn't follow any trends. Instead, whatever she does becomes the trend. Then there's Hannah, who is also an idol trainer like Gina. And this is Mangi, who comes from a very wealthy family and is also very cute. These three are best friends and also the most popular girls in the school. On the other hand, we are introduced to our male lead. He is sitting there watching Gina when suddenly his best friend Chang comes from behind and hits him, saying, "What are you looking at?" Then Chang also looks in that direction and says, "You're sitting here and you've started watching Gina again." Lee says, "It's not like that. I was looking in another direction and she happened to come by, so I saw her too." Then Chang says, "You know she already has a boyfriend, yet you're still doing all this. Anyway, you two are completely different from each other." Lee says, "So what if she has a boyfriend? I still like her." On the other side, we see Gina with her boyfriend Young. Young is a baseball player, and here Gina is upset with him because he couldn't remember her birthday yesterday and wasn't able to celebrate with her. Young says, "If we couldn't celebrate yesterday, let's celebrate today." But Gina gets even angrier because this isn't the first time. Young is always busy with his game and doesn't pay any attention to Gina at all. Then in anger, Gina says, "I want to break up with you." Hearing this, Young says, "Give me a valid reason, only then will we break up." Then Gina starts thinking, what reason should I give? Then she says, "I already have a new boyfriend." Young, surprised, says, "Really? Who is he?" Then Gina starts looking around, and when she sees Lee's photo, she says, "This is my new boyfriend." Young says, "If he really is your boyfriend, then I must meet him." Gina also says, "All right, meet him tomorrow." After this, Gina becomes very worried and gives Lee's photo to her friends, telling them to find him quickly and bring him. Now, the three of them start a mission to find Lee and begin checking every guy with his photo. Then Chong finds out that Gina is looking for Lee. He goes straight to Lee and says, "Do you know who's looking for you?" Then Chang tells him that Gina is looking for him. Hearing this, Lee goes to meet Gina. As soon as he arrives, Gina directly asks him, "Will you be my boyfriend?" At that moment, we are shown a flashback scene. When Lee first saw Gina in the broadcasting room, he started liking her from that moment. Hearing that she wants him to be her boyfriend, Lee is completely shocked and asks, "Can I really be your boyfriend?" Gina says, "Yes." Then Lee asks, "And what about Young?" Gina says, "I broke up with him just this morning." Lee asks, "So, do you like me? Is that why you broke up with him?" Gina says, "Why would I like you?" Lee then asks, "Then why do you want me to be your boyfriend?" Lee doesn't understand anything and refuses, then leaves from there. After this, Gina tells all of this to her friends. Her friends, shocked, say, "What? He turned you down? How is that possible?" The next day, Young comes to Gina and asks, "Where is your new boyfriend?" He says, "Introduce me to him after school." Gina says, "All right," and Young walks away from there. After this, Gina goes to Lee's class, grabs his hand, makes him stand up, and takes him away from there. Everyone is watching them. When they arrive, Gina tells him the whole story and gives him a couple contract. She says that this contract is for 50 days, and during this time, we have to pretend to be a couple. Now Lee understands everything and agrees to the contract. Just then, Gina gets a call from Young. She tells Lee, "Quickly sign this contract and come outside." When she comes outside, Young asks, "Where is your new boyfriend?" Gina says, "He'll be here in a minute." On the other hand, Lee is thinking, this relationship is fake. But if I stay with Gina for some time, maybe she'll fall in love with me, and this fake relationship will turn into a real one. Thinking all this, Lee signs the contract. On the other hand, Young says, "It's been a minute, but your boyfriend still hasn't shown up. I know you don't have a boyfriend and you're lying to me. Now forgive me and let's go back to being normal like before." Just then, Lee arrives from behind. He puts his hand on Gina's shoulder and says to Young, "I'm her boyfriend." After that, the two of them leave from there. In the next scene, Lee is sitting with Gina and her friends. Just then, Gina says, "I'm craving dumplings." Lee immediately goes and brings back a lot of dumplings. Gina says, "Was it really necessary to bring so many?" Lee says, "If you don't want them, should I take them back?" She says, No, it's fine. I'll take them." Seeing all this, Lee becomes very happy and excited. After this, Lee is waiting for her outside her training center. When Gina comes outside, she asks, "What are you doing here?" Lee says, "I'll drop you home." Gina says, "There's no need. I can go by myself." She starts to leave from there when she suddenly spots Young. As soon as she sees him, Gina immediately runs over to Lee, and together they completely ignore Young and walk away from there. In the next scene, the two try to get to know each other better so that Young doesn't get suspicious in any way. Then at the training center, Hannah asks Gina, "Why are you hanging out with that boy? You deserve better than this." Gina says, "Yes, but Young knows his face and name because that day I told him that he was my boyfriend." After this, Lee is about to drop Gina off at her house. On the way, when she's about to get hit by a car, Lee comes and saves her just in time. Then he starts to leave after dropping her off at home. Just then, Gina stops him and asks him to save his number in her phone. Lee saves his number and blushing, walks away from there. Seeing this, Gina also starts laughing and then goes inside as well. Then we find out that someone else is also keeping an eye on Gina. In the next scene, she is with her friends and taking selfies with them. Then Gina says that she should invite Lee as well. If he stays with me, Young will trust me. Saying this, she messages Lee and calls him there. After that, Lee arrives there with his friend Chung. Here, Chung becomes very happy sitting with such beautiful girls. Then Gina asks, why did you bring him here? Lee says, when you messaged me, he was with me and we didn't have time to think. That's why we brought him along in a hurry. After this, Chung starts making everyone laugh with his antics. Mangi is really enjoying all of this. Meanwhile, Hana gets annoyed seeing all this and goes to the training center. Suddenly, a bright light falls on Gina's face. Seeing this, Lee covers her face with his hand. After that, Chung says, let's take them to our favorite place. Then all of them arrive at a gaming place where they find the food to be very delicious. After that, everyone plays games together and has a lot of fun. As they are leaving from there, a man starts staring at Gina, but then he walks away. After this, Gina takes a selfie with Lee and says, I'll send this to you and you can put it on your status. Then she says, yesterday you came to drop me off and today I'll drop you at your house. She drops him off at his house. Then Lee says, should I drop you home now? But Gina says, there's no need, I'll go by myself. Just then, Lee takes off his jacket and puts it on Gina saying, wear this, you won't feel cold. Now you go. Saying this, he leaves from there himself. Gina really likes all of this. The next day, Young sees a photo of Lee and Gina, and he doesn't like it at all. On the other hand, Gina is sitting with Lee's jacket. Her friends ask her about the jacket. Then, in a unique way, she says that Callie gave her this jacket because he was afraid she might catch a cold. Saying this, she leaves from there. Her friends are very surprised to see all this. On the other hand, Young comes to Lee and asks, are you really Gina's boyfriend? Then Lee says, yes, there's no doubt that I'm her boyfriend. Just then, Gina arrives and says to Young, if you try to bother Lee, I won't let you off. Hearing this, Young gets very angry. Then he says, I don't think you two are really in a relationship. Hearing this, Gina suddenly kisses Lee. Seeing this, Young is completely shocked. Then Gina says, still don't believe it? Hearing this, Young leaves angrily. After that, Lee says to Gina, that kiss you just gave me, was it real? Gina says, no, don't take it seriously. I only did that to make Young believe it. Hearing this, Lee feels very hurt and leaves angrily. A little while later, Gina's friends also arrive there. Then Gina says, I don't understand why he got angry about this. In the next scene, it's sports day at school, where everyone's physical appearance is being checked. Young gives his belongings to Gina, but Gina doesn't take his things. Seeing this, Young leaves without saying anything. On the other side, Chang is handing out his club's templates. Then Lee comes there, picks him up, and takes him away. Then Chang asks Mangi, will you join my club? Mangi also says yes. Just then, Gina says to Chang, call your friend too, so we can all have lunch together. But Lee doesn't come, which makes Gina a little sad. On the other hand, Lee is leaving from there when he sees that Hannah is also leaving. Then the two of them sit down somewhere and start talking. Lee asks, should I get you some water? Hannah says, I've been trying to maintain my diet for the past 3 days, and still I haven't lost any weight. If I drink water right now, I'll gain another kilo in just 2 minutes. Lee says, is this really that important to you? Hannah says, I know you're going to say that inner beauty matters more than outer beauty. But Lee says, I never said anything like that. Meanwhile, on the other side, Gina is asking Chang, why is Lee upset with me? Then Chang tells her, you told him that his kiss was fake, even though it was his first kiss, and you only did it to show someone else, which he really didn't like at all. Chang says, Lee is a very straightforward guy, and he doesn't like these kinds of things. While talking, Chang also reveals that Lee has liked her for quite some time. On the other hand, Lee gives Hannah a drink and says, drink this. You've become very weak and it could affect your health. Just then, Mangi comes there to call Hannah. As she leaves, Hannah takes the drink with her. From this, we can tell that Hannah has started to like Lee. In the next scene, Gina says to Lee, I found out that you've liked me for a while now. Lee says, yes, ever since I saw you in the broadcasting room, I've liked you. Gina says, all right, and apologizes for her mistake. She says, from now on, I won't do that anymore. But Lee says, if you do that again in the future, please give me a real kiss. Hearing this, Gina doesn't say anything. After this, when Gina goes to get her blood pressure checked and sees Lee there, her heart starts beating rapidly. Seeing this, everyone standing there is surprised. Hannah is also watching all of this. In the next scene, at the training center, the manager tells Hannah that he hasn't seen any progress in her so far. On the other hand, he praises Gina a lot and tells Hannah to learn something from her. Hearing all this, Hannah becomes very upset. The next day, Lee brings a gift for Gina. Gina asks, why did you bring this? Lee says, we've been dating for a week now and this is our first anniversary. Hearing this, Gina becomes very happy and says, since you brought it with so much love, I accept it. But today's dinner will be on me. Lee also says, all right. After this, Gina tells her friends that this gift was given by Lee and everyone really likes it when they see it. Young is also watching all this as he sits there observing everything. At that moment, he remembers an incident from the year 2020. When Gina was waiting for him outside, as he comes out, he says, you've been waiting for so long. I told you it would take me a little time. Then Gina gives him a gift. He asks, what is this for? So Gina says, we've been dating for 100 days now, and this is our first anniversary. Then Young says, I have to go to dinner with my team today, so I can't go with you. Then Gina says, okay. But inside she feels sad and leaves from there. In the present, Young is sitting there, remembering all those things. After this, when Gina is putting her things in her locker, she finds some of her photos, along with a letter. On it is written, we will be together very soon. Seeing this, Gina starts wondering who is doing all this. Meanwhile, on the other side, Young is also sitting and listening to all this. In the next scene, everyone joins Chang's club, and they are all having a great time. Just then, as Chang starts to hit Lee, Gina stops him and says, what are you doing? Seeing this, Chang gets scared. Then Hannah says, I heard that there's going to be an autograph session by a singer named Noam Jong. Gina asks, who is he? Then Lee says, is this really going to happen? And both of them get very excited about it and start talking to each other. Gina quietly sits and watches the two of them. After this, Lee and Chang leave from there for some work. Then Gina asks Hannah, do you really like that singer so much? Hannah says, yes, he's my secret favorite singer. Then we learn the backstory that Hannah found out about that singer from Lee's club post. Then Hannah asks Gina, do you really like Lee? But Gina says, no, it's not like that. There's just a contract relationship between us. Then Hannah says, is that really all it is, right? In the next scene, Young comes to Hannah and asks her for help. On the other hand, Gina tells Lee, I won't be able to treat you today, but I'll definitely do it next time because I still have some work left today. Lee says, all right, and leaves from there. Then as Lee is about to leave, he sees Hannah outside. Hannah says, today is Namkong John's autograph session. Will you come with me? Because I'm going alone. Hearing this, Lee gets very excited and says, yes, I'll come too. In the next scene, Gina goes to a place to meet Hannah, but when she arrives, she sees Young standing there. Young says, I called you here to meet me. Then Gina looks at the gifts placed there and asks, what is all this? Young says, until now, I was never able to give you gifts on your birthday or our anniversaries, so today I'm going to give you everything at once. He says, this is the gift for our first, second, and third anniversaries, and this is your birthday gift. Just then, Gina also notices a lock there. Young says, these days, some strange things have been happening with your locker. Anyone can open it, so use this lock to secure it properly. Hearing this, Gina says, I don't need any of these gifts. I have a boyfriend who can give me all this. Then she says, now I'm leaving from here. Just then, Lee and Hannah also arrive there. Gina doesn't like seeing them together, and Lee also doesn't like at all that Gina is with Young. He leaves from there angrily. Gina follows him and asks, what were you doing with Hannah? Lee retorts, and what were you doing with Young? You said you had something important to do. Gina says, yes, I came here because Hannah called me, but I didn't know that Young would be here. Then she says, you also went with Hannah without telling me. Saying this, she leaves from there angrily. On the way, she bumps into a boy and saying sorry moves ahead, but the boy smiles as he looks at her. On the other side, when Young comes out, he asks Lee, where is Gina? Lee says, she left in anger. Young says, how could you let her go alone at a time like this? You know how many strange things have been happening to her lately. Hearing this, Lee is left shocked. Meanwhile, that same boy is following Gina. Seeing his face, Gina says, you're a player on the baseball team, right? Why are you following me? Then the boy says, I told you we'd meet again very soon. Hearing this, Gina starts to run away and the boy chases after her. Then Young shouts, you're her boyfriend. Don't you know anything? Just then Gina calls Young, but the call gets disconnected before she can say anything. Then Young says, you're going to her house and I'm heading to the training center. Both of them set out to look for her. On the other hand, that same guy says to Gina, I've liked you for a long time, and the day you broke up with Young, I decided that I would make you mine. But I don't know how that Lee suddenly became your boyfriend. And that day when you kissed me in front of him, I got really angry. Now I'm going to make you my girlfriend. Just as he's saying all this, Lee arrives there. As the guy moves towards Gina, Gina attacks him from behind, but even then he manages to escape from there. On the way, that same guy bumps into Young. Young says, what are you doing here at this time? Then he sees that there are a lot of Gina's things in the guy's bag. Seeing this, he realizes that this is the same guy who was keeping an eye on Gina. Then the guy starts to leave from there. Young grabs him and hits him, causing him to fall down. After that, they hand him over to the police.
After this, Gina thanks Young.
Then Young says to Lee, you are her boyfriend, so take care of her. Saying this, he leaves from there. Now Lee stands there looking very sad. Gina says, why are you making that face? Lee says, I couldn't protect you. Gina says, today because of you, I am standing here safe. Otherwise, I don't know what would have happened to me. Then Lee says, from today onwards, I will drop you home every day. Hearing this, Gina laughs and says, all right, let's go now. Then he drops her home. There, Gina says, my parents aren't home today, so I'm alone. Lee says, if you're alone, won't you be scared? Gina says, all right, you stay with me tonight. Hearing this, he agrees and goes to her house. There, the two of them sit together and have dinner. Then Lee stares at Gina. Gina says, I know I'm beautiful, but you shouldn't look at me like that. Lee says, yes, you're beautiful, but right now I'm looking at something else. Saying this, Lee wipes her face. Then Gina complains, why did you remove it from there? I deliberately kept it there so I could eat it tomorrow. Hearing this, Lee starts laughing. After a while, the two of them fall asleep sitting next to each other. The next day, Gina's friends ask her about what happened yesterday. Then Gina says, "You don't need to worry because he has already been arrested." After this, Young comes there and Gina goes to him to thank him for yesterday. Young says, "There's no need to thank me, but you can give me a gift in return." Gina says, "What kind of gift should I give you so that you'll become my boyfriend again?" Young says, "No, I want to be your friend." After that, everyone is sitting there together. Mangi says, "We should go on vacation to refresh our mood." Everyone agrees to this. Then Young says, "I'll go on vacation with you all too." Hearing this, Lee stares at him. In the next scene, they arrive at Mangi's old house, and as soon as they get there, they start playing games and having fun. Then Gina goes to Lee and asks, "Where did you get this camera?" Lee says, "It was lying in the broadcasting room, so I brought it so we could record some memories." Then Young also comes there and says, "You can shoot me too," but Lee ignores him and walks away. After that, Lee is cooking in the kitchen. Hannah comes and starts helping him, but then Gina also arrives and gets very angry seeing Hannah there. After this, everyone starts eating. Hannah tells Lee to serve her food as well. Then Young says, "Why should someone else's boyfriend serve you food?" And yet Lee serves food to Hannah. After that, everyone starts playing a game again, in which one person whispers a question into another's ear, and the second person has to say who the question is about. If anyone sitting there wants to know what the question is, they first have to hit everyone, and only then do they get to know the question. After this, they start the game. First, Minji asks Chang, "If you could go on a date, who would you like to go with?" Then Chang points towards Minji. Both of them become very happy. After that, Chang asks something to Gina. Then Gina points towards Young. Lee says, "I want to know this question." Then everyone starts hitting him a lot. After that, Chang tells him, "I had asked, who eats food in the kitchen at night?" Chang starts laughing. After this, Gina keeps pointing towards Young again and again, and Lee also tries to find out the answer to every question, and everyone beats him up a lot too. Then Young asks Hannah a question, and Hannah points towards Lee. Then Gina says, "I want to know this question." Then everyone beats her up, and then Young says, "I asked Hannah what she is most interested in." Hearing this, Gina doesn't like it at all. After that, she sits there, lost in thought about the same thing. Just then, she hears some sounds. She starts looking outside, but just then someone comes there, and she gets scared, but it's Lee. After that, the two of them go outside and sit somewhere. There, Gina starts singing, and Lee is recording her and says, "Your voice and you both are very beautiful." After that, the two of them start to kiss, but suddenly they feel shy and stop. Meanwhile, Hannah is standing there watching everything. Then, in anger, she goes back home. At that moment, Young asks, "What happened to you all of a sudden?" Angrily, Hannah says, "The two of them are in a contract relationship, but I don't know why everything is starting to feel real." Hearing this, she is completely shocked, but at the same time, very happy. In the next scene, everyone starts to leave from there. Then Minji says, "What are these things going to do here? Everyone should take what they like, but Gina is taking everything." Then Hannah says, "You want everything and that's what I don't like." Hearing this, Gina says, "What are you saying?" "I was just joking. Take whatever you want from there." But Hannah leaves from there angrily. Outside, young Hannah says to her, "I found out that you like Lee, but you have to wait for the right time, just like I am." After this, Gina comes to the training center and tries to talk to Hannah, but Hannah doesn't respond to her. Then the manager comes there and starts telling everyone, "You all will have to invest some money because our agency is going through a tough time." Then Gina says, "There was nothing in the contract about us having to deposit money." The manager says, "Yes, you're right, but the money will only be deposited by the person whose progress is very low, like Hannah." Then the manager tells Hannah to deposit 10 million rupees. Then Gina says, "Why should she have to give all the money? You should treat everyone equally." To this, the manager says, "We are praising you a lot. Then you also started talking a lot." Then Gina says, "Oh, we don't need to stay here." She grabs Hannah's hand, but Hannah doesn't support her and says, "If you want to leave, then go. But I want to stay here." Hearing this, Gina leaves the agency alone. After that, she starts remembering old memories with Hannah and herself, and she starts thinking, "I don't know how you changed so much all of a sudden." After that, she goes to Lee and tells him everything, asking, "Is any of this my fault?" Lee says, "No, it's not your fault. You did the right thing, and besides, you don't need to work at that agency anyway." Then he shows her the video and says, "If I upload this on social media, you'll become really famous." Gina says, "Really? Do it? Make it go viral." Lee says, "Yeah." And both of them start laughing. In the next scene, Gina comes to meet her brother-in-law and sister and tells them about her contract relationship. She says, "Now I've really started to like that guy, and soon I'll share my feelings with him." Hearing this, her sister becomes very happy. On the other hand, the manager says to Hannah, "You can take all your money back, but bring Gina back here because she was the face of our team, and without her, we are nothing." The manager adds, "She left because of you, so you have to bring her back." But Hannah says, "I've deleted her number and now we're not friends anymore." On the other hand, Lee and Gina are sitting together, and then Lee is surprised by something he sees. Then he says to Gina, "Look, the video has gone viral and you've become very popular." Then Gina says, "You deserve part of the credit for this." Then the pen falls from Lee's hand and he bends down to pick it up. Then Gina also bends down and while picking up the pen holds Lee's hand. Seeing this, Lee becomes very shy and starts to get nervous. Seeing this, Gina says, "It's okay, you can write with your right hand." She tries to pull her hand away, but Lee says, "No, I'm fine like this." Seeing Lee's reaction, Gina starts laughing. On the other hand, there's a romantic comedy going on between the two of them. Then Chang says, "Today was Young's match." After that, both of them start watching his interview in which he says, "The girl who likes me should support me." Then Chang asks Minji for a charger, but she refuses. Then he starts looking for a charger in Lee's bag to charge his phone, but instead of a charger, he finds their contract. Seeing this, both of them start laughing. Hannah also sees all of this. In the next scene, Lee goes to Young and asks, "Why did you say all that in the interview?" Young says, "So you did watch the interview," and adds, "And the game isn't over yet." Saying this, he walks away from there. Then Hannah also sees that Gina's video has gone viral on social media. She doesn't feel good seeing this. After this, Young comes there and asks Hannah about Gina. Hannah says, "Everyone is asking about her. I don't know where she is." Hearing this, Young leaves from there. After that, Hannah goes to Lee and expresses her feelings. She says, "I like you, but if you don't want that, we can have a contract relationship. After that, you'll gradually start liking me." But Lee says, "I only like Gina, no one else." Hearing this, Hannah angrily says, "What's so special about her that everyone wants to like her?" Then Gina also comes there and says, "What are you two talking about?" Hannah says, "Can't you see that we're talking? So please leave from here." But Gina grabs Lee's hand and while leaving says, "He's my boyfriend." Then she takes him away from there. Seeing this, Hannah becomes very angry. In the next scene, everyone at school finds out that Lee and Gina are in a contract relationship. Upon hearing this, Lee runs towards Gina, but Hannah stops him on the way and says, "Even after everything that's happened, Gina is still very angry with you and doesn't want to see you." After that, Lee sits there watching Gina from a distance. On the other hand, Gina is waiting for Lee because she needs support. She's also seeing a lot of nasty comments. Meanwhile, Young's match is going on. But when he sees on the news that everyone is criticizing Gina, he runs towards her. On the other hand, Gina finds out that someone has placed her contract photo in this room and all her suspicion falls on Hannah. So she goes to Hannah and says, "You did all this, didn't you?" Hannah admits it and says, "Yes, because I want to take everything away from you." Then Gina says, "What are you saying? We're best friends." But Hannah laughs and says, "I've disliked you from the very beginning. Ever since you came to the training center, everyone's attention has been on you. Whatever I want, you take it away from me, and now I want to take everything away from you." Hearing this, Gina says, "What are you saying?" Just then, everyone hears Lee's voice, who is speaking into the microphone. "Yes, there was a contract relationship between Gina and me, and now I don't want to stay in this contract relationship because I considered it real from the very beginning, and now I want to turn it into a real relationship." Then he confesses his feelings, which makes all the students very happy, and he also says, "You all should support my love." Then Gina says to Hannah, "No matter how many people dislike me, just one person who loves me is enough for me." Then she walks away from there. Then the teacher comes into the broadcasting room and takes her outside to punish her. After this, she sees that Lee has posted another note on the notice board, which says, "It's true that there was a contract relationship between us, but for me it was always real." Seeing this, Gina also says that for her too, everything was real. Now within a few days, everything returns to normal and everyone forgets about it and is having fun. On the other hand, Young's leader asks him, "Did you get what you went for that day?" Then Young remembers the day when he ran towards Gina, but he sees that she is looking at Lee's note. Then he thinks, "Maybe I'm late again?" Now, there is no one else in her heart except Lee. Thinking this, he leaves from there without saying anything. In the next scene, Gina comes to meet Hannah and asks, "Why haven't you been coming to school for so long?" Hannah says, "I'm angry with you, but still, we can forget everything and start anew." Gina continues, to which Hannah says, "All right, I'm ready to forget everything and we'll be friends like before. I'll go back to school too, but I have one condition." Then Gina asks, "What condition?" Hannah says, "After this contract relationship ends, you won't date Lee because I like him." Hearing this, Gina doesn't say anything and leaves from there. On the other hand, Lee is thinking about how he will propose to Gina after this contract relationship ends, and just thinking about it drives him crazy. Meanwhile, Gina is recalling what Hannah said to her. Then she receives a good night message from Lee and she becomes very troubled. The next day we find out that today is the last day of the contract between the two of them. Then Gina says, "Today we'll do everything that we haven't done as a couple until now." After that, the two of them do a lot of things one by one and have a great time together. On the other hand, there's also romance blossoming between them. Just then, Hannah arrives and asks about Gina and Lee. They say, "We don't know where they are." Then she goes to Young and says, "You gave up so easily. Don't you want to be with Gina anymore?" He says, "Now her heart belongs only to Lee. Now there's nothing left for me in her heart." He goes on to say, "Now you should also forget about Lee." Saying this, he leaves from there. On the other hand, the two of them arrive at a place and Lee is waiting for midnight because after that, their contract will end and he will propose to Gina. After midnight, he expresses his feelings to Gina, but Gina says, "Thank you for staying with me all these days." Hearing this, he feels very strange and asks, "What are you saying?" But Gina gets up and starts to leave. But Lee stops her and asks, "What suddenly happened to you?" We both like each other, but she doesn't say anything and leaves from there. Lee also becomes very upset here. After that, both of them live alone and don't talk to each other. After this, Young asks Gina, "How did everything suddenly happen between you two?" Then she says, "We've broken up," and she starts crying. Then Young says, "You didn't even cry this much after our breakup, but now I know that you don't have any feelings left for me." He goes on to say, "But we can always remain friends. If you like Lee so much, then don't take your love to someone else." On the other hand, Lee tells all of this to his father. Then his father says, "There must be some problem in this. He must have said something like that, but you should try once again." Hearing all this, Lee decides that he will propose to Gina again. On the other hand, Gina comes to meet Hannah and says, "I was crazy to keep listening to you. You have changed the definition of friendship and I can't leave my true love for a friend like you." Saying this, she leaves from there. After this, both of them run towards each other and come face to face. Then they express their feelings to each other, hug, and then walk away hand in hand. In the next scene, Hannah is also leaving the school, which makes me very sad because her best friend is leaving her. In the next scene, Lee calls Gina and gives her a new contract asking, "Will you be my girlfriend and stay with me for life?" She then says, "Okay." Then he says, "Sign it." Gina kisses the contract and says, "This is how you sign a contract. You sign it too." But he says, "I will sign but somewhere else." He kisses her. Then he says, "From now on, I am your boyfriend." She says, "I'm your girlfriend too." She kisses him, and with that, our lovely drama comes to an end. Now tell us, how did you like this drama? And who was your favorite character? Be sure to let us know in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel to watch more such dramas.